You're watching The News. I'm Anchor Person. Today's headline: the youth of today are describing themselves as non-binary. In recent years, minors and adults alike are identifying as non-binary. But what does this really mean? We go now to an expert, a 17-year-old girl. Not a girl, a 17-year-old person with more information on this interesting take on gender. Thank you, Anchor. I'm Althea Shaw, but I prefer the name Blue. Non-binary is an umbrella term for a lot of different identities, but the most used one is agender, meaning a lack of gender. This is the definition I'll be using moving forward, but it is not the only one. Each identity and term is different and personal. Being non-binary is similar to being transgender. One feels disconnected from the gender they were assigned at birth. The feeling that something is different may begin early in life. Many transgender adults remember feeling a difference between their bodies and what they felt inside at a young age. Others do not feel this way until later in life. Those that are non-binary reject the standard gender binary and instead are genderless. They can present in any way. Some choose to present feminine, masculine, neither, or both. When it comes to pronouns, they, them is used to replace she, her, and he, him. This is a gender-neutral way of referring to someone without forcing an identity on them. As these pronouns become more common, people are unsure of how to implement them into professional settings like schools and businesses. Employment forms, for example, often include only male or female options. References from old jobs might have known someone before the person assumed a different name or identity. And often, employer health insurance requires a person to choose. Although most forms are set in the gender binary, non-binary people in working jobs have begun to find a way to be true to themselves while being professional. They is already used to refer to someone of an unknown gender, like I have done throughout this explanation. All one needs to do is practice being less specific when it comes to gender. For example, they have the book. I want them to finish their schoolwork. Change will not come instantly, and cis people, those that identify with the gender they were assigned at birth, are not expected to acclimate to they/them pronouns instantly. The traditional trans flag has the colors blue, pink, and white in horizontal stripes. The white stripe is in the middle and represents the non-binary community. The trans flag was created in 1999 by Monica Helms, but in 2014, almost 15 years later, Kai Rowan created the non-binary flag we see today. The flag features 4 colors: yellow, white, purple, and black. These colors symbolize all types of non-binary and genderqueer people. But why, in more recent years, are more people identifying themselves as non-binary or agender? 20% of youth in California aged 12 to 17 said their peers would identify them as gender nonconforming. The concept of being separated from the gender binary is not new, but it was not common in past generations. Before the 20th century, gender roles and norms were strict, and deviating from these rules meant being rejected socially. Those that did kept it a secret. Not all early Americans who passed as a different gender did so because they identified with that gender. Women in particular often chose to pass as men as a way to claim privileges afforded only to white men. These privileges included things like suffrage, higher wages, military service, and educational and employment opportunities. It also made it possible to court women in a society that did not yet conceptualize lesbianism or female sexual desire. It's difficult to determine if these people were queer women, trans men, or women trying to take advantage of male privilege. The same could be said for the reverse. But there is little to no information on non-binary people from the past. That doesn't mean they didn't exist. Non-binary people have existed as long as the gender binary itself. They just weren't in the position to express themselves. The real reason there seems to be more non-binary people these days is that society itself is progressing. More and more people are becoming accepting of different or strange identities. Because of this, younger people are encouraged to discover who they are early on, and older people are inspired to reevaluate themselves and become their true selves. Thank you, Blue. Now we go to real people and their thoughts on the non-binary identity. What's your name?
Ella.
And what's yours?
Becca.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
And how old are you?
I'm 17.
And your pronouns?
I go by she, her. I also go by she, her.
How often do you use they, them for people in your life?
As often as possible. Every day.
How many non-binary people do you know?
I know quite a few because being non-binary is normalized right now, which is good. So I know a lot.
How do you feel about the normalization of the non-binary identity?
I think it's good because a lot of people are being able to be who they are and they can come out finally and not have to worry about people being mean.
Thank you. Amazing. Coming up after the commercials, the election, an incoming train wreck.